Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Yes, indeed. Operators are standing by, ready to take your calls here at New Life Live, and we're going to be here for 2 hours taking those calls at 1-800-229-3000. My name is Brian Perez, and we'll be joined in a little bit by clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard and licensed marriage and family therapist JJ West. JJ is here right now. How you doing, JJ?
Brian, I'm doing great. How are you today?
Doing well, thanks. It's a kind of cloudy day here where we are, but all is good. What's on your mind to start us off today?
Well, you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and,
Yes.
and we talk about how we oftentimes experience challenges. And I want to take a different turn on that word, different twist on that word. I love challenges. I love being a part of a challenge. I join challenges very readily. I've got about 5 challenges that I'm actively participating in right now. I was already doing a step challenge. I was already doing a Bible reading challenge. I was doing a workout challenge, and a buddy of mine, and I was doing a step challenge. I don't know if I said that, step challenge. So then my buddy said, hey, I'm doing this 100 push-ups a day challenge. Do you want to join me? I'm like, sure, absolutely. That sounds great. Then he mentioned that he's also doing this plank challenge. I'm like, oh, well, I need to do the plank challenge. And he says, no. That's just because I have a bad back. I'm like, well, I have a bad back, so I got to join too, right? So I'm doing all these challenges, and I do enjoy challenging myself. And I think it's important that we do challenge ourselves. I think it's important that we kind of push ourselves out of our comfort zone, because when we're comfortable, it's very rare that we're experiencing growth, that we're experiencing change. And so it's good to challenge ourselves, but we have to be very careful that we don't let the challenge define our identity, or our success in the challenge to define our identity. So for example, I grew up a really just scrawny, nerdy kid. I don't know that I've changed much in that regard, but I grew up in an environment where athleticism was very prized. Academics was not prized. And it's easy for me to fall back into a false belief that my value, my identity is somehow tied to athletic ability. And if I do well in these challenges, then I'm more valuable, I'm more worthy. And if I don't, then I'm less valuable. And that other people will find me more valuable or less valuable, depending on how the challenge goes. And we have to be very, very careful, because our identity, our value, our worth is solely in the work of Christ. Should we do challenges? Should we challenge ourselves, push ourselves beyond what our normal, comfortable limits are? Yes. But my value and worth is solely placed in what Christ has already done for me. This isn't something that is going to happen. This isn't based on how many pages of the Bible I read, or how much I give, or how often I go to church, or whether I was a good neighbor or not. It's solely based on the work of Christ. And so to help me not fall into that trap, I need people around me. One that will challenge me. My buddy always says, there's never a challenge that you don't like, JJ. But so people who will challenge me, but also people who will help me remember where my value comes from.
Amen. Jill, any thoughts on that?
Love that, JJ. And I didn't know that about you, because I think you push yourself in a lot of areas and actually succeed. So it served you well in some ways, but I hear where you have to keep that in check. And that's a good reminder for all of us.
Indeed it is. So we are here taking your calls for 2 hours on New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call, and we would love to hear from you, no matter what it is you're going through, whether it's fear, anxiety, depression, grief, you're feeling stuck, you've got some relationship struggles. You know what? Mother's Day is coming up in just a few days. Maybe you've got...
Yes, it is.
Yes, and if you want to...
Are my children listening?
Right.
Sorry.
Well, for some people, their children aren't listening. Maybe it's even their adult children. Let's talk about this. 1-800-229-3000.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to intimacy in marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy in Marriage workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy in Marriage Weekend is July 25th to the 27th in Washington, D.C. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And what do you say we go right to the phones on this Tuesday, and beginning with Christine, who is in Baltimore, and we welcome you to New Life Live. Christine, how can we help you today?
Hi, forgive me, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. I have been essentially, my bottom line question is that I'm looking at what I need to do for the next best thing, the most holy thing that I can do. I've been married for 30 years. My husband has been unfaithful. I know for a fact he's had at least one 10-year affair. With a married woman. She died, and I think that's the reason that it ended. I handled it the wrong way, and I think I handled it the wrong way. I wasn't walking with Jesus at the time. So I feel like I'm essentially suffering from betrayal trauma. I have anxiety, depression. I have fear of just making any sort of change. I'm dependent on him. And I will say that to his credit, for the last year, he has been going to church with me. I found a wonderful church here, and he has been going to church with me. And I thought that he was making great strides, and then I found out last weekend that he lied to me again about something very simple. So I'm very confused, and I don't want to do anything that's going to make me sin any more than I have.
Christine, when you say that you handled when you found out about the affair and you handled it the wrong way, what did you do?
I did nothing.
Okay.
I did nothing. I was angry. But I did not, and I was not, where I am now, because it was years ago, but,
Christine, can I interrupt you for a moment?
Yes,
I'm wondering at what point in the 10 years you knew about it, is one question.
I didn't know about it until
she died?
I knew about it before she died. He actually even had the nerve to introduce me while they were having an affair, and I wasn't aware that was going on. When I found out, it was by accident. It was not because he felt that he was wrong and that he needed to unburden himself.
Right.
It was completely by accident. And I did say, okay, it needs to stop, yada, yada. But it was almost like they fought for each other. And then I still had a young child at that point in time. And my husband was able financially to manipulate. He he's a master manipulator. And
Yeah.
I knew that he would fight me for my child.
So, Christine, when you say you didn't handle it the right way, I don't know if there is a right way in terms of how it impacts. So whether you're walking close with the Lord or not, I mean, this really knocks a woman to her core and is such, like you said, a betrayal trauma. It is such a trauma that most are not in their right minds. And so, understandably, you think about your survival and your child. I mean, I've heard much worse stories than what you're saying, and it sounds like you just pretty much shut down in a, you know, a panic of what am I going to do? And that's what happens to so many people. And so I don't want you to take more responsibility for that than is really yours. I mean, your husband having an affair is not by any means, and I think you know this, your fault, right? And understandable if nothing has happened to do any healing, that while you see him doing some good things, and that's wonderful, yeah, you're not going to have a lot of trust, especially if there's little lies that happen. Yeah. Because here for 10 years you didn't pretty much didn't know. And there's something there's that feeling of you know, being fooled, right? And it's like, I've been fooled, I don't want to be fooled again. So then it's the hyper vigilance of everything. Do his words and his actions match? And what do I do? Yeah. And somehow, you know, because I didn't do anything, I'm trapped and it's my fault, or as if you had handled it differently, you know, maybe there would have been a different outcome. But you can't erase the 10 years. And I'm not hearing that he's had a ton of remorse about this.
Yeah. Christine, what is it that you found out recently? You said you found out, is it another affair or just something else?
Well, so, you know, it was before COVID, and he was going to work as normal people did then. And that was when and where he had his affair with, you know, with a coworker. And so now, then he was working from home during COVID, and now he has a new job. And this job is requiring that he goes in to work somewhat. Well, the other day, we share locations now, as I thought it was a trust builder, right? And I just happened to look at his location, and he was having lunch, and he came home that day, and he had 3 opportunities. I literally gave opportunities for him to tell me, you know, what happened during his day, what he did, blah, blah. He mentioned everything and anything except for the fact that he went to lunch. Well, that was a flag for me. And so then, you know, I called it. By the end of the night, I was actually I slept on it, excuse me. It was the next day.
Yeah.
And I had to have time to think about it.
Yeah. And
I approached him about it. And immediately he became defensive. I didn't know I had to report to you that you know that kind of stuff. And
wow.
As soon as he became defensive, I was triggered.
Yeah,
and
of course.
All he had to do was tell me, even now, just the truth. Just tell me the truth, even if it's about years ago, yesterday, today. I can deal with the truth. What I cannot deal with is another lie.
Yeah, of course.
And so this time, he finally, it was almost like I had proof, and he tried his, you know, denial thing, and it wasn't working. And I told him he was a liar. And he said, I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you. And I said, you omitted something.
Yeah.
You intentionally did not tell me that you went. And then as we were talking, I found out that it was not just him and his male boss. There were females there. And I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm that jealous, crazy woman.
Right.
You know.
JJ, what do you say to
But he's given you reason
Yeah.
not to trust him. He's given you multiple reasons not to trust him. So no, I don't think you're being the crazy, jealous woman here. I think you're rightly responding to the fact that he has broken trust with you and has failed so far to rebuild trust. And that's the key.
Thank you.
It's not just
Thank you
a
for saying
cessation.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not just a cessation of the behavior. So if I was lying about affairs or going to strip clubs or looking at porn or whatever, it's not enough for me to just stop doing that behavior. I should stop doing that behavior, but it's not enough for me to just stop doing that behavior. In order to rebuild trust and restore the relationship, there has to be a change in behavior, but there also has to be an intentional rebuilding of trust. And I can't prove a negative. So if you ask me, did you look at pornography today? Or did you secretly meet up with a woman today? And I say, no, there's no way for me to prove that. What I can prove is a positive. I can prove that I'm actively telling you the truth about what's going on in my world, sharing that with you. And there needs to be as well, and we talk about this on the podcast all the time, there needs to be a focus on changing or maturing my character. It's not enough just to look at behavior. There has to be a change in my character in order for me to rebuild trust with you, so that you're not just saying, oh, you've gotten better at hiding. Right? Instead, if when you come to me with your questions of, hey, okay, so you didn't tell me about lunch yesterday, what was going on? If I get defensive, that's revealing that my character is not changing. If instead I'm gentle and I'm compassionate and I have empathy for the fact that I've broken trust, so of course you would ask those questions, now that's changing my character. Now that's maturing my character. Okay, I got a question for you though. Christine, did you and I'm sorry, is it boyfriend, husband? I don't know the husband.
Husband. We've been married
Okay,
for 30 years.
30 years. Okay, that's what I thought you said. All right, so did you and your husband, at the time that the affair was discovered, did you do any couples counseling? Did you go to a restore intensive? Did he go to an Every Man's Battle intensive?
He has not admitted to anything. No.
He hasn't. He never admitted to it.
He has roundabout admitted to it, but he has not come out, and he has never ever shown any sort of remorse for it. The closest thing was actually the other day when the other lie happened. What the closest thing to a confession was when he did by the time we were done with our conversation, he had nowhere to go because I had proof, and I was going to hold him accountable finally. And so in that moment, he did say, he said that he did go to lunch. He apologized for not telling me, and he told me that he was sorry if what he did on that day triggered some feelings from things that happened in the past.
Wow.
Okay, so a very vague, non-specific sort of confession, but not really. And it's not what we would call a full disclosure, which even if there was discovery, in your case there was discovery, you discovered some evidence of the affair and you brought that to him. Even if there's discovery, there still needs to be a full disclosure. That's part of the process of rebuilding trust. And if he's never done that full disclosure, to talk about his life and what he's, and really to talk about your life, right? To help you make sense of your reality, then there's not going to be a rebuilding of trust. There's not going to be a restoration of the relationship. And so you do live in this constant, you live in betrayal trauma, not just the impact of the betrayal with the affair or any other affairs. You're living in the betrayal trauma now because there's never been any attempt to actually restore the relationship, to fix what was broken.
Yeah. Dr. Jill?
Well, I'm wondering, and JJ, I'm wondering if we should send her worthy of her trust.
Yes.
Either that one or intimate deception.
Yeah.
one of the two.
Yeah, I was thinking of an intimate deception. Plus, I wanted to remind Christine, well, maybe she doesn't know, I shouldn't say remind, but we do have a Restore Healing After Betrayal intensive that's coming up. The next one is July 25th in Washington, D.C. Christine, you really need to attend this, and we can tell you so many reasons why. I think you already know why. I mean, here's this man you've been with for 30 years and just so much betrayal and everything going on. You need to heal from this, and this is the
well as
best.
every man's battle. I mean,
Yeah.
we need the double header there,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
eventually they need intimacy and marriage. That's
Yes.
our triple header for best
Yes.
results.
Yeah, and we offer all three. There are different dates and different locations coming up between now and the end of the year. You can find out more about them at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Christine, thanks for calling in today. We are going to send you a copy of Intimate Deception, and then we'll get some more phone calls. We've got Rosita and Connie coming up.
Early on, looking at pornography that went into affairs, massage parlors, strip clubs with buddies. Before you know it, you're ashamed of that.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
My wife got a phone call, and she asked me who this person was, and man, how do I get myself out of this one?
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
When she said to me, I want you to look at this website named Every Man's Battle, she had me look, and I said, no, this is exactly where I need to be. This is exactly the problems I have, and I'm gonna go.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Denver, Colorado, June 6th through the 8th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Hey, believe it or not, I messed up on the dates. I know I never do that. Man, oh man, it's amazing you guys keep inviting me back. The Restore Healing After Betrayal Intensive is in November in Washington, D.C. The Intimacy and Marriage Intensive is July 25th, also in Washington, D.C. It's a good thing I'm not running the website, because the website, if you go there, newlife.com, you'll get all the right dates, all the locations.
Battle is coming up sooner,
yes.
and we think Christine's husband really needs to go.
Yep.
I think that's a minimum requirement for moving forward if he wants to reinstate trust in the marriage.
And that is June 6th in Denver. And if you register by May 23rd, you'll get a discount. So get all the details at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call us today. And now we're going to go to Washington, D.C. We were just talking about Washington, D.C. WAVA is where Rosita is listening. How can we help you today?
Yes. Hi. Good morning. Good afternoon. I just had a question. I guess mine's a little different. I believe God is bringing someone in my life, in my church, but they're in leadership, and we haven't gone out on a date yet, but there's just this strong attraction and liking and things like that, and some exchanges of, I like you, I really have
So you both have said that to each other or acknowledged it?
Yeah, we just recently said that. Because and so, but I think that God told me, like, wait, be still, initially, because it's been like several months, and to wait on him and to trust him through the process. I just feel that it's a process, and I don't want to get ahead of God, and just how to walk confidently until that time or whatever.
Yeah, JJ?
Rosita, when you said wait, God told you to wait on the Lord, wait on him for what? Wait on him to do what?
Well, just, wait, trust him.
To bring someone into your life, or what?
Yes.
Okay.
So now there is someone.
But you're not sure if this is him. You're not sure if this is...
Well, I believe it is, but
okay.
Still
So
I do. I do. However, like I said, and they're in a leadership role. So, when you're dealing with church and things like that, I'm not that used to that. This is new for me and everything.
Okay.
And
all right. So Rosita, is the question in your mind about whether to move forward less about this person, the guy, and more about the fact that he's in this role of leadership, and so being with him means I kind of take on some of that as well. Like I'm now kind of in the spotlight in terms of the church.
Yeah. No, gradually. I think those are my concerns, and I really pulled away from it. It was like, I think he tried to hold my hand one time in church, and and different things, and I thought, I really just I wasn't ready. I just
Okay. Rosita, have you communicated to him that you want to take things slowly? And that, if you haven't even gone out on a date yet, I can see why him holding your hand in church feels a bit uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Well, not really. No, I haven't yet. I thought of an opportunity. I could probably say it. I know my actions have been like that, and I've been, like I said, shied away.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm just asking, wisdom and how to go about it.
Well, right. But I think sometimes, we're praying about something and it always seems far away. And then when it shows up, we don't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. And I get the feeling that that's where you're at, because what are you waiting for now? Because someone has shown up. So it is time to take a step. But instead, you're backing away saying, oh, no, I need to wait on the Lord. Well, the Lord's saying, I just brought you someone.
Right. Are there any red flags? Is that why you're maybe...
Well, it's hard to really say it over the phone, over the air.
Okay. Okay, so there's some pieces we're missing here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we appreciate you calling, but we can't give you like a
He's
full...
single, right? This is not a married man.
Single.
And you're also single?
Yes, he's eligible. Okay. We got that out of the way.
Well, can I ask, have either of you been married before?
Well, we both have.
Yeah.
You both have? Okay, gotcha. And did your spouses pass away? Did you go through divorce?
Oh, I went to, I did, yes. And he did too, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Which
causes,
that adds to the equation.
To hesitancy.
Because if I've been in a relationship where we both promised we're going to be together forever, right? I'm going to love you until death do us part. And then we didn't fulfill that promise for one reason or another. We didn't fulfill that promise. It does create some doubt in us that that's even possible to have that kind of relationship. And so when we're presented with, oh, here's someone who loves the Lord, who is good to me, who I'm attracted to, and I enjoy being around. But what if we take that step, we head down that road, and then it ends? Can I handle the heartbreak of that?
Rosita, we're coming up to a break, but is there anything else you want to share with us before we go to the break? If not, we understand. You don't have to. But like I say, we can't give you a better response if we don't know more.
I do understand. Yeah, but I better leave it there for now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
We'll be back with more.
Yes. Stay on the phone here on New Life Live. Thank you for calling us today. We've got lots more calls coming in, and we're going to be here for 2 hours taking your calls so we can use more phone calls. 1-800-229-3000. We've got many lines. Call us.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then become a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back on New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. And Rosita, thank you for calling in today. We are going to send you a copy of Smart Love from the newlife.com store. And off the air, Dr. Jill and JJ were talking about other books that maybe you can find online somewhere because those might be good as well.
Mm-hmm. JJ, you were mentioning those.
Well, there's Running Scared by Ed Welch, and then there's When People Are Big and God Is Small. Both are excellent. Because I think for Rosita, a lot of what her concerns are based in fear. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if this is going to follow the same track as my first marriage. I don't know if this is going to be too much being with someone who's in ministry, in full, in service in the church. And it's important for us to not let our fears direct our steps.
Yep.
And so both of those books would be good in helping her identify where she's letting that fear, where she's letting that anxiety take control.
All right, back to the phones, 1-800-229-3000. Here is Connie, who's listening on the New Life app. Thank you for downloading the app, and thank you for calling us today from Albuquerque. How can we help you?
Hello?
Hello, how can we help you today? What's your question?
I'm disappointed in churches now. I'm not looking for the perfect one. I'm looking for the true one. And I have a heart for the hurting and lost, and I don't see the love of Christ towards them. Nowadays, they have answering machines. They don't call back for days. And I finally got to the point where I called and I said, what if I was someone who wanted to commit suicide? What if I was someone that was starving? What if I wanted to go through a divorce? They actually called me the next day. I shouldn't have to do that.
Okay.
And you were calling the church for what purpose?
Just to have someone to talk to.
Oh, okay.
About what?
Yeah.
Just their programs, what ministries they have.
To get information about the church?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they don't call back. And then I guess I got to the point where I don't want to be critical, but it's like when you and the pastor are busy, what kind of busyness is it? Are you taking food to the hungry? Are you visiting the sick? Are you helping someone not to get a divorce? Are you helping someone not to,
Connie, sometimes you have to actually go and visit a church. Excuse me. I think it's important to remember that churches are often made up of a lot of volunteers. Yes, you'll have the staff depending on how big the church is, but sometimes there's just a few paid people and it's volunteers. So sometimes to go and visit and see what programs they offer, because a missions department may have local missions, and they may have a group or things that do those things that you're looking for, so that then the pastor can be focused on the teaching and the preaching, right? So they have different people doing different parts of the body of Christ in a church. And sometimes, it's hard to get all of that over the phone. And most churches, I don't know that they have a phone ministry per se, right?
Yeah, I think with so much stuff going on online now with websites and everything, but I mean, that's not necessarily an excuse. I'm not making an excuse for these churches, but I'm curious, Connie, why is it that you're looking for a new church? Are you new to the area?
No, I'm new to the area, yes, and I have gone and I have tried it, and I just didn't like what I seen. And kindness, just I walk into a church and I'm like, where's the homeless? Where's the prostitute? Where's the drug addict? Where's,
A lot of times, I will say this, Connie. A lot of times, those types of individuals who are on the fringe, who are on the margins, oftentimes you won't see them in a Sunday morning or Wednesday night service type of thing. But where you often find the broken, myself included, is in those AA, NA, SA meetings in the basements of churches or in the rec hall of churches. They're not necessarily showing up in the and listen, I'm not suggesting that they shouldn't be. I think I want to be a church that is welcoming to everyone. I want to model what Jesus did. Jesus got in trouble for going out and hanging out with the riffraff, the irreligious, the known sinners. He got in, the religious people didn't like that. And so we do want to model that. But where I think we see it is most often are in these kind of 12-step recovery groups that happen in mostly in churches. Most of the recovery groups that I've ever been a part of, that I've known about, they take place in churches. And so it's important, I think, that we keep in mind there's a big C church and there's a little C church. And so the little C churches, man, we're going to mess it up without a doubt, because we're filled with flawed people who make mistakes and get off track. And that's absolutely true. You're right that there's a need for our churches to be more ecumenical. But Big C church is the church that Jesus died for. It's his bride. And we want to honor what's good there. And also know, by the way, I work with a lot of pastors on my caseload. Most pastors that I know are overworked. They're wearing 5 or 10 different hats every single day, just trying to keep things going. And so I know it hurts if you call and they don't call back, but I would encourage you not to take it personally, because there's so many pastors who are desperately overworked and are just trying to keep things afloat and not sink.
But what work? I mean, are they helping the hungry? Are they?
Well, I think that's where, Connie, that's where ministries come in. I know at my church on Monday nights, we serve a free meal. And there's a message there, and there's a pastor that ministers to the homeless, to the people in recovery, to the people that are down and out, that there is a place for them to come. And so we try to meet their nutritional needs, right? We have things that we offer to them. And so they know this is a place where they can come, where a lot of times they don't feel comfortable on a Sunday morning, people dressed up, the happy families, when they're feeling low in terms of where they're at in life.
Connie, other than looking for a church, how is life for you in general?
Life is good. God, I am so grateful that God uses me and gives me a heart for the lost and hurting.
Yes.
and I was just disappointed because I don't see the compassion that I used to see a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is I do a lot of, I don't want to be by myself, a Lone Ranger. But every time I do a ministry like taking roses on Mother's Day to homeless and addicted women to let them know God loves them as moms do, I ask churches to go with me and no one wants to go. I take thank you cards to the Veterans Hospital. Nobody wants to go. It's just different ministries I've taken on my own. I don't want to be a Lone Ranger, but I have no choice. No one in churches want to go anymore.
Gosh, Connie, I just want you to know I appreciate your heart.
Yeah.
I appreciate how much you want to live out the gospel. You want to show the love of Jesus to your community, to all those who are hurting, to all those who are lost. I just thank you for doing that. Thank you for being that vessel. If I could just, I know, I don't know what it's like in New Mexico. I've never lived in New Mexico, so I don't know what it's like there. But I do know that while there are some churches who certainly are too busy to help those who are hurting, I think the majority of churches actually are wanting to do that. And so if I can, just keep trying, just keep asking, just keep inviting. It may not be a church that gets behind you and supports you. I hope that they do. But even if not, there may be individuals within churches who say, you're absolutely right, Connie. We need to be caring for these people. And I want to participate. I want to support what you're doing, or I want to participate in what you're doing. Please don't give up. Please don't give up, because the church needs you.
And Connie, look within churches or look for parachurch organizations where that is their main focus. I know a lot of organizations, and they're always looking for people to help and come alongside the homeless and the poor and the needy.
Yeah.
So, Connie, thank you for calling in today to New Life Live. I think we want to send you a copy of How You Think Determines the Course of Your Life. It's from the newlife.com store. We appreciate your phone call, and we appreciate what you do, and we do pray that you find a good church with like-minded people who are willing to come alongside you. And like you said yourself, you're not looking for the perfect church. You just want to find a church that deals with all these different things that are going on in the world nowadays, and maybe you can be a part of it. Maybe you can start a ministry at a church. Who knows? But we thank you for calling today. We are taking calls for another hour and 20 minutes or so give us a call. We're going to be here in the studio. 1-800-229-3000 is our number to call. I see John, Joe, Lisa, and many others calling in to 1-800-229-3000.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learned a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're in the middle of a matching gift right now, up to $500,000. You can help us reach that goal by the end of this month. Your gift will be put to work right away to directly support all the ways, and there are many, that New Life connects hurting people with help. Whether it's workshops, counselors, this broadcast, many other resources, you can give online at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text the word match to 28950. Let's go to the phones, and Lisa calling from Washington, D.C., listening on WAVA, and keep those calls coming in. 1-800-229-3000 is our number, and here is Lisa. Hello.
Hi, Lisa. Hi.
You're Lisa. I'm Brian. This is Dr. Jill, and JJ is here with us, too.
Hey, Lisa.
I needed that. Thank you.
So what's going on?
An identity crisis? No, I'm joking.
Well, you can call us next hour and we'll discuss that. But,
thanks for the comedy relief, Lisa.
Yes, always good.
I needed this. We're done. I'm
Okay,
good.
okay.
My question is, I recently was the mother of the groom, and at the end of the wedding, at the very end, the mother of the bride came over and started hitting me, like physically hitting me. Yeah.
Literally?
What?
Oh my goodness.
Literally. Not hitting me with words, but hitting me violent, like hitting me.
Oh my gosh, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Was she under the influence?
Yeah, I
That's
know. I was wondering.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Has there been altercations with her before the wedding day?
No, and that's what's so bizarre. We actually had a great meeting months before the wedding took place. Helped her spiritually through some issues she was going through, and then they live in a different state. And so when we came to have the wedding, I started cleaning up. I went to the wedding planner and I went to the bride, my new daughter-in-law, and said, "Hey, is it okay if I start cleaning up?" And they said, "Absolutely. There's only about 15 people left. Go ahead," because candles needed to be, blown out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
things need to be put away and all that.
Yeah, exactly. They will get charged if anything's left behind, type of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So I started cleaning up, and she came over and started hitting me physically. And so much so that people started, like some of the younger people that were there, sat in their chair and watched. They didn't help me.
Watch, of course, because that's what people do nowadays.
They didn't stop her?
They did not stop her.
Did they get it on tape?
I'm not sure. They're not admitting it to me that they got it on tape.
Sure.
But other people saw it and went to the bride. The wedding planner saw it. I went to my new daughter-in-law and said, "Hey, your mom's hitting me. I don't understand." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry." I said, No, I just want it to stop. Can she just stop hitting me? So she talked to her mom. The mom left in a fury. And so my question to you is, I have forgiven her. There has been no mediation or reconciliation, which is fine.
No apology.
No apology. Then I get triggered thinking, this is my last memory of the night.
Oh.
So how do I just, and I'm telling you, it's not for days or months. It's just something makes me remember that moment, and I just cry about it.
And how long ago was this?
Sure.
6 months ago.
Okay. All right. What do you guys say?
Okay. Well, a couple of things, Lisa. I'm so sorry that this happened. And not only was it evil on the part of the bride's mother, the mother-in-law, her mother. Sorry, excuse me. but it was also it's the evil one. It's the enemy of our soul who wants to steal, kill, and destroy. And what he wants to do in this is to steal the joy that you have from that special day. He wants to take that away. He wants to snatch it away, and that's his MO. And so, there's no way to erase that memory. But what you can do is every single time you get triggered, every single time that part comes back up, is to pause and say, God, please help me to remember all of the good things from that day. Help me to remember all of the joy that we celebrated together from that day. Help me to also celebrate this new family that was made on that day. The joining of my son and my daughter-in-law together. Help me to focus on those things. Yes, this evil was perpetrated, but I don't want to focus on that. And of course, there are things that are going to trigger that for you, no doubt. And you're not doing something wrong because you're being triggered. A trigger is simply a reaction. It's just an emotional reaction or a psychological reaction. You're not causing that to happen, okay? But what you want to do is get in the habit of asking God to help restore that which the enemy wants to steal.
I love that.
And I would also have the pictures up of the wedding.
Yeah.
The happy pictures, right?
Yes.
So as you're reflecting and remembering that you look at the pictures, you look at your son and your new daughter-in-law and how wonderful this union is.
Yeah.
And it's...
You know what's crazy?
What?
It's almost like you knew I don't have any pictures up because of that day. I don't have any
no,
pictures.
you need to put the pictures up. Yeah.
Yes.
See, everything is getting reduced to this scenario. And I think here, your intentions were good. You were wanting to help, and you got in trouble for helping. And that's very confusing. Right?
Yeah.
And it's important to remember, Lisa, that even though weddings are such wonderful, happy occasions, they are, on the stress scale, they are right up there, close to the top. They are the most stressful, and they bring out weird things in family members.
Yes.
And then you throw in a little alcohol, right? That so there's no inhibition, right? And it's almost like this mother didn't want it to end. You were ending the party. She didn't want it to end. And so it's like wanting the moment to last forever, and things can't last forever. So you did nothing wrong. And so if there's a little girl in you that gets triggered by feeling like you're trying to do well and you get in trouble, right? I want you to connect the dots there.
Thank you.
And you are okay in this.
What's a resource from the newlife.com store that we can send to Lisa?
This is a rather unique scenario.
I don't think a book has been written about this topic.
Well, you know what I would actually
boundaries maybe
boundaries could be helpful, but I would actually say there needs to be some grieving. That takes place because, Lisa, there was something that was taken from you, and because of the trauma. Because of the trauma, right? There's this belief that if I had done something different or responded a different way, that bad thing wouldn't have happened to me.
Yeah.
And we can't control that. That's what we do. That's the bargaining is, if I'd only done this or done that, if I had waited 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes or whatever, right? And that's our bargaining to go, I want to wrestle back control of something that's uncontrollable.
Yeah. The life recovery.
So take your
take your life back? Yeah. We can take your life back for sure. So stay on the phone, Lisa, and we'll get that out to you. And we're going to be taking calls for another hour. So call us up at 1-800-229-3000, and Dr. Jill Hubbard and JJ West will address whatever it is that you're going through. Mother's Day is coming up. If you want to talk about your mom, or you are a mom and you're estranged from your kids, let's talk about it here at 1-800-229-3000. And don't forget our Intimacy in Marriage Intensive. That is happening the weekend of July 25th in Washington, D.C. We'd love to see you there. Get more details at newlife.com.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.